Good afternoon, children, and welcome back to biology class. So, we are moving on to the next lesson, which is the excretory products and their elimination. Now, what do you mean by excretion, children? Excretion is different from egestion. Egestion is the throwing away of the unwanted or undigested food material through the anus. Right. Now, what is excretion? It is the elimination of metabolic waste. What is this metabolic waste? Especially the nitrogenous waste out of protein digestion. Okay, like ammonia, urea, and uric acid. These and creatinine, like this. There are many other nitrogenous waste products formed in different type of animals. Right. According to this type of their nitrogenous products, excretion of nitrogenous products, the animals are classified into three categories, which are amonotelism or amonotelic, ureotelic or ureotelism, and uricotelism. Okay. Now, what is all these? The three terms means. Amonotelism or amonotelic animals or organisms are mostly aquatic animals like fishes and aquatic amphibians, etc., who excretes ammonia as their nitrogenous waste product. Ammonia is highly toxic and it's also readily soluble in water. So it is excreted through the gills of fishes as ammonium ions, and it needs more water to remove from the body. So amonotelism is that organism which excrete ammonia as their waste product. Right? Now ureotelism, the organism which excrete urea as their nitrogenous waste products. For example, who are these ureotelism-telic animals? We are also ureotelic organism. Almost all the higher vertebrates are ureotelic organisms. Okay, and this needs little water for their excretion, and it's not highly toxic like ammonia, but it also needs water for its excretion. Right. Okay, and uricotelism is seen in birds, mostly birds and reptiles, some of the reptiles, and this is the least toxic among the three, and it doesn't need any amount of water for its excretion. Okay, and such organisms are called as uricotelism or uricotelic organisms. Now, kidneys are the main organs of excretion in higher organisms or higher vertebrates. But in other lower organisms, many other kinds of or primitive forms of our kidney or nephridia or nephron is seen. Right? For example, protonephridia or flame cells is the excretory organ for platyhelminthes, annelids, and some cephalochordata. Protonephridia and nephridia, like our nephron, the structure is somewhat same like our nephron, each nephron. Okay, so which is nephridia, which is seen in annelids. And in insects, the excretory organ is Malpighian tubules. It is associated with the digestive system. It is tube-like or hair-like structures extending from the digestive tract, which is the excretory organ, Malpighian tubules. And in crustaceans like prawns and crabs and all, just below their antenna, they have a gland called as green gland or antennal gland, which is their excretory organ. Antennal gland or green gland. And of course, higher animals all have a pair of kidneys for excreting their nitrogenous wastes. This is a human excretory system, and it consists of a pair of kidneys, a pair of ureters coming out of the kidneys, and the two ureters join to form a urinary bladder where the urine is stored for a while and it is excreted out through the urethra. Okay, and the kidneys are located near the or between the thoracic and the lumbar vertebrae, right, between the thoracic and lumbar vertebrae. Now each kidney is a reddish brown bean shaped structure enclosed in a tough 3-layered fibrous capsule, 3-layer covering of fibrous tissues or fibrous capsule. Now it has got a convex surface and a concave surface. Okay, on the concave side of the kidney there is an opening called as the hilus, this one, hilum or hilus, through which the blood vessels, the artery, the main vein, and also the lymphatic vessel, also the ureter also comes out through this opening. It is a depression like structure, and there is the hilus, and there is an opening through which all these vessels enter inside the kidney. Okay, and on the concave side of the kidney, and this hilum, this concavity leads to a funnel shaped structure, this one, called as pelvis, with projections called as these extend into projections called as calyces. This concavity is called as the hilum. The hilum extends into the kidney as a V-shaped or funnel-shaped structure called the pelvis or renal pelvis, which has projections called as calyces. Renal pelvis and calyces. Every organ, if you take, it is differentiated into an outer cortex region and an inner medulla. Outer cortex and inner medulla region. This is the cortex region and this is the innermost medulla region. Right. And medulla has few conical projections. See this one. Conical projections which project into the calyces. Okay, which are called as the renal pyramids. And the cortex, you can see the cortex in between these areas, right? In between these calyces you can see the cortex extending, which are called as the columns of Bertini. Okay, and each kidney has nearly 1 million structural unit of the kidneys, which is called as nephrons. Kidney is a very small organ, bean-shaped structure, and inside each kidney you find millions of simpler units called as nephrons. Okay. Now coming to the structure of nephron, each nephron consists of a Bowman's capsule. This is the Bowman's capsule, and the Bowman's capsule will lead into the renal tubules. Okay, and inside this Bowman's capsule, the renal artery that enters the pelvis region into the kidneys, that will divide into branches, and which is called as arterioles or afferent arterioles. Okay, and each of the afferent arterioles enter into each of the nephrons. Okay, and like that this afferent arteriole enter into the Bowman's capsule to form a tuft of capillaries. This one, capillaries. Arteriole is a main branch which enters into the Bowman's capsule to form the tuft of capillaries called as glomerulus. What is that? Glomerulus. Okay, now the glomerulus plus the Bowman's capsule together is called as Malpighian capsule. Not Malpighian tubules, which is the excretory organ of cockroaches, insects. This is Malpighian body or Malpighian capsule, you can say. Okay. Now this after making tuft of capillaries, it comes out as efferent. efferent arteriole. The efferent arteriole enters the Bowman's capsule, makes a tuft of capillaries and comes out through the same opening as efferent arteriole. Okay, right. And now coming to the renal tubule part. It consists of the following parts, which is the PCT. This is the PCT, proximal convoluted tubule, which is the starting portion just behind the Bowman's capsule. This is the PCT, starting of the PCT. Proximal convoluted tubule, which extends down as a very thin loop. It takes a U-turn, takes a loop called as Henle's loop, which continues as distal convoluted tubule, DCT. PCT and DCT, distal convoluted tubule, and which finally ends in a collecting duct or collecting tube. Okay, these are the branches of different other nephrons. Come and join to the same collecting duct. Okay. This Henle's loop has gotten, this is the descending tube, isn't it? This comes down, called as descending tubule, and the one and also has an ascending tube or ascending limb, you can call it. The DCT's distal convoluted tubules of many nephrons open into the collecting duct. Okay, the collecting duct, you can see in this picture, the collecting duct extends from the cortex, which is mentioned the green color. The medulla region is mentioned as yellow colored. The collecting duct extends from cortex to the inner part of medulla. They converge and open into the renal pelvis through medullary pyramids in the calyces. Okay, the loop of Henle is seen in the medulla region. Okay, the Bowman's capsule, Malpighian capsule, everything is found in the cortex region, whereas the Henle's loop and most of the collecting duct is seen in the medulla region. Okay, now you know the efferent arteriole which comes out of the Bowman's capsule, that will form a network of capillary around the Henle's loop to form the vasa recta. The vasa recta, which is this one, the efferent arteriole, which comes out of the Bowman's capsule, forms capillary network around the Henle's loop, which is called as the vasa recta. Okay. Now there are two types of nephrons according to their positions inside their kidneys, right, which are cortical nephrons. 85% of the nephrons are cortical nephron, which means they are present in the cortex region. And only a very small portion of the Henle's loop may extend into the medulla region. Okay, so mostly they are present, the entire nephron is present in the cortex region. So they are called as cortical nephrons. And the other one is juxtamedullary nephron. Juxtamedullary nephron. And the Henle's loop is very long and runs deep into the medulla. The Bowman's capsule, everything is present in the cortex region, but the Henle's loop is very long and extends into the medulla region of the kidney. Okay.